Imagine living in the Middle Ages. Have you ever wondered about medieval life? If you could travel back in time, would you? Have you considered enjoying it? How long would you last? The Middle Ages, sometimes known as the Dark Ages, lasted from the end of the 5th century BC to the dawn of the Renaissance in 1500 AD. In this era, life was harsh and frightening unless you were a knight, nobleman, or king. Hygiene were very poor. The beds were mainly made of straw and covered with a linen sheet. The life was also enjoyable for the poor peasants for enjoying 8 weeks of vacations and festivals throughout the year. Most towns had castles, which was only accessible for the rich nobleman and king. A typical medieval town day begins at 4 a.m. as the church bell rings. The day begins with its first service. Not everyone will attend church this morning, unless they are from an aristocratic or royal family. Instead, prepare things for sale at the market, opening at 6. Expect to stand for 9 hours, hoping to earn enough to buy a chicken for dinner instead of cabbage and beans. Not all Middle Ages people were peddlers. The skills of a typical town can be various, including blacksmiths, tailors, masons, winemakers, and tax collectors. Around 3 p.m., most retail stores close for the day. At 8 p.m., the city gates close and the night watchman begins work. While a peasant mainly ate staple food like beans and cabbage. The king is enjoying a feast in the castle. Enjoy unlimited food and drinks with no dull moments. The action continues after dinner. Although many celebrations were associated with the church, the town also held tournaments, which the church did not approve of. Tournaments undoubtedly made violence a spectacle, from jousting to sword play and prisoner dueling to execution. Despite their lack of expertise in buoyant physics, science existed throughout the Middle Ages. Even in medieval times, educated individuals understood that the world was round. This era also saw the introduction of commonly used goods like the mechanical clock. The printing press was also invented in the last phase of the Middle Age, namely the Renaissance, around 1500 AD. Too bad they didn't invent toothbrushes. In reality, rotten teeth were trendy among the wealthy, indicating access to sugar. Obesity was a symbol of prosperity, indicating the ability to afford luxury foods and meat. However, well-maintained nobility led to optimal peasant health. A balanced diet of bread and beans, along with daily hard exertion, maintained them in fantastic form. No toothpaste was available back then, so people often rinsed their mouths with wine or vinegar after meals. Only the castles had toilets. The toilets were called easement chairs or chamber pots that dropped the waste in a pit. Toilet paper was not known, and usually hay or corn cobs or wood shavings were used, quite unsanitary. The Middle Ages weren't about hygiene. Keeping clean hands and face was important for appearances, but only the wealthy had access to bathrooms and bathtub. They used polished discs of silver as mirrors. In the late medieval period, famine, strife, and plague characterized the Dark Ages. The epidemic, sometimes known as the Black Death, killed up to 60% of Europe's population in one of the worst pandemics in history. World population returned to its original level after 200 years. In the following centuries, Europe had a renaissance, characterized by skepticism and empirical evidence-based pursuit of truth. This age started a scientific revolution that continues today. It was also known as the Enlightenment. The first Bible was printed in the mid-1500 AD. Dear viewer, as a gesture of appreciation for the effort I made with the making of this video, please hit the subscribe button now.